Hello everybody, my name is Clayton Huffman, and it's my wife Tammy Huffman right here with us. We're coming on this show. We created this North Padre Island Bigfoot expedition because of something that happened to us the other night while we was out on the beach here, and there's like a long, they say it stretches all the way to Mexico, and we're in Corpus Christi, so you can kind of guess how far that is. And then you have sanctuaries, you have a lot of hiding places for all kinds of strange little creatures. We've seen Bigfoot, deer, foxes, wild dogs, all kinds of craziness. But this is something that kind of took us by surprise. And before we get too further talking about this, we want to show you this video. And so hey, take a look at this video and we'll be right back. This is crazy. We live out here on North Padre Island, down here in Corpus Christi. Beautiful beaches, that's why we moved here. We got a 16-year-old daughter and a 14-year-old nonverbal autistic son. You're probably wondering why we're here talking about Bigfoot. Well, I watch the TV shows like everybody else does. I Travel Channel love watching. But we're making this right now because of what we heard and saw. And we thought somebody was pranking us, but it really wasn't. We came down here last weekend, and we've been really thinking hard about this. But we came down here last weekend, and you know, like we always do, and we brought Christian down with us. And like I said, he's 14-year-old nonverbal autistic son, about 6 foot tall. You'll see him later on. We was out running around playing, and while we was playing, Tammy had him right over there, and playing in the water. And then all of a sudden, Tammy goes, "Look, we got a coyote," and we got a picture of the coyote. I'm going to show you. We're going to add that to the video later in the show or the podcast. And we're just sitting there and we saw the cow. All of a sudden, we took a picture. All of a sudden, all the cows were howling, and it sounded like about what?
Probably 10 or so.
Yeah, about 10 or so cows. And then we heard this very weird, and this is what we get to, very weird sound. It's like moaning, grunting, just, it had a little rhyme to the audible, I guess you could say, the yelp. And my son started responding back to it. And he normally talks like this, so which is really crazy. And just making, you know, we thinking this no rhyme to reason to the sound, but something right over that dune right there was making the same noise, and it's going back and forth.
They were communicating.
And you could tell because he'll get a little upset and he'll calm down, and from what it sounded like the yelp over there, it was like getting a little bit upset and then communicating. I mean, like calming down. So we're kind of like, what the hell? So she stayed there with Christian. He started to get a little agitated. I walk over there, just kind of chase the cows away and see what's going on. And all of a sudden, while we're doing that, you hear this, you hear the cows just start yelping even more. So I kind of backed off and backed away. And then all of a sudden, we see this sand being thrown up sky high, and little patches of, you know, you see that grass with the dirt just coming over the side. And we're like, what's going on here? This is nuts. And this is the first time we've been back here. And you can see people go up and down all the time. In a few hours, this place is going to be packed. And it's like that from, you know, all during sunlight, all day. So it was crazy to us. I mean, you got anything to add to this?
Still trying to process what we witnessed.
I'm telling you, it's nothing like we ever saw. That's why we talked all week. We said we're going to
Document this.
We're going to start documenting this because if there's something to it, we'd like to know. I mean, you're always hearing about crypto, all the different animals and everything like that, and then we're finding new species all the time, and you know, everybody's hunting. There's got to be something to it. So we started researching this week, and we also started checking out local folklore. There's some people here that do believe they exist here, and they've been hunting them for a few decades now. So we're reaching out to them, trying to talk to them, and trying to figure something out here of what's going on. So what we do is we're going to go back to the studio now, and where we're going to hold this podcast every week, because we're bound and determined to find out what's going on here. And we hope you guys enjoy. Okay, and now you saw what we saw, and it was kind of disturbing to us, a lot of questions what did you think about after seeing the video now again?
I've always been interested in watching the Bigfoot
All the shows and stuff.
and stuff, but I've always kind of been on the fence whether I truly believed or I kind of always believed there could be something out there. But after seeing there was something out there.
I mean, I don't think it was a coyote throwing the.
No, it's something big.
I mean, it's just the depth of that yelp,
Yeah.
and then seeing something thrown up that high, up in there, like it was like a good 20, 30 feet up in the air. And then a couple of them landed by us, and we looked around to see if we saw anybody. It just so happened there's nobody around us. It was kind of freaky. So, we shot that a couple of days ago, and I wanted to do some research before we start shooting this video. I have a lot of questions. A lot of people, as you see in these videos, or we watch these documentaries or these Bigfoot shows, and I kind of took it as entertainment or a little bit of truth with, folklore. But I started dabbing more into it right now, and, we got so much land that's unexplored. Even in our own backyard, we got sanctuaries. You find new species all the time, species that you thought was extinct. And then with history, and we all know with history, Victor's right, the history kind of, but you hear like in Native American folklore and all around the world that there are giant, 7, 8 foot, 9 foot, they call it creatures. I don't know if I really consider them creatures at this point, because there's some form of intelligence from what we saw the other night.
Mm-hmm.
And if you didn't have any intelligence, you would have been seen or caught or whatever by now, unless you want to be a government conspiracy theorist and hide it. But like you get covered up. But I'm not going there. There'd be too many. Go ahead.
Yeah, it's just we're interested in exploring and finding out what we may have witnessed the other night. It's fun. It's interesting. It was scary.
Well, and also you have other people. There's a gentleman here I want to try to get in touch with here in Corpus Christi. He's been hunting them for like 2-3 decades now, and there's been sightings around here. You got the chupacabra. I think that's what they got. A little strange. Everybody's got the little animals, but my point is, there's a couple key points I started investigating. I want to really look into and got me thinking. We sat out here on our back porch. This thing we saw was literally over the century, about 2-3 miles from where we live. So it's kind of scary how close it was. But we see coyotes up around where we're at night, during the day. Also in the evenings, we see like maybe about 2 dozen, I'm talking about healthy deer walking up in here. So, as you see, you hear about Bigfoot has this food source. Bigfoot, they got to have, deer's primary food source, and they run with wolves and coyotes and, kind of mask them. But what I don't understand is how healthy and big these deer are. What's keeping the coyotes from eating them when coyotes will come up and try to snatch a dog out of somebody's garage? Cats and everything else. When they got that deer right there, they can take down pretty easily. It leaves me with a lot of questions, like, is something protecting that food source, or what it could be? And then the water source around here, there's got to be some kind of water source to sustain whatever that big is. Plus the deer are healthy, the coyotes are healthy, so there's abundance of food here that we don't even know about or realize. And also, I was looking for, like you saw, you hear about them being black fur, brown fur, white fur.
Mm-hmm.
I'm thinking they camouflage to the area they're in. They could be like a chameleon type creature. This
like a sand color that blends right in.
Like with the gills, because I couldn't see what it was.
Yeah.
Okay, but where it's coming from. Saw the coyotes, couldn't see it, and the coyotes were visibly distraught a little bit. Okay, but they weren't leaving the area, which is kind of strange, scared. So again, there's a lot more questions I want to investigate, because I'm wondering if they do, like you hear in the Bible, Jesus or even Buddha, 40 days, 40 nights. They use some type of what sun gazing, like the ancients used to use in Egypt and everything else? What if this creature is something like that? Also, what if it's not really what we think it is? It could be more, because our DNA is not that far off from a chimpanzee or something like that. What could it be? I know I'm rambling here, but we need to look at it from a different perspective, because it could have some intelligence to it, and it could know ways that we don't, because it's out there surviving and thriving, from what I can see, whatever it is.
And what freaked me out was the way it was interacting with our nonverbal autistic son. It was like they were communicating and they were having like an argument or something. It was like they were communicating back and forth. That blew my mind.
Yeah, I wish I could hear, you could have just heard him in the background. I wish I could have recorded that, but we're just so awestruck, and I was trying to keep everybody safe. You just get.
We didn't realize what we were witnessing
Yeah.
at the time until afterwards, and we.
Yeah, and that's a
started
huge
reflecting
thing.
on it.
We want to see if it's more of a syllabus language or syllabi language with them, because everybody's so fixated on certain key points here. But I think you can throw a lot of that out of the window right now with what we're seeing. And like she said, our key point is our son is nonverbal autistic, and he was literally having a conversation, moving his hand, his head, his mannerisms and gestures as if he was talking passionately with somebody. Kind of like what I'm doing. I'm just like, hey. And he was looking straight at that direction when he's doing it. And normally, he's looking around or not fixated, but he's focused, and he was just like there. And that was when I got kind of like, there's something here. So there's some key points I think I want to take away from this, and what I want to talk about as we go further, because we want to investigate. If anybody wants to join in with us, I'm going to have here at the end our email address. Email us, and we go out looking for them. And I think this would be a kind of fun project to see what's out there and get like-minded people together, because I think some of it is like the ancient Egyptians, the India, all over the world, they've done this type of fasting. Had like sun gazing right here is perfect with all the heat and everything in the sun. Could slow down the metabolism, I think. Also, there have been skeletons of, as you see all the time now coming out, declassified or out there, that there was 7, 8, 9 foot human-like people. And if you're a religious person, you had it in the Bible, you had it in all different type of religious texts. So how does people all over the world describe the same type of person, and then all of a sudden they just vanish? I think, and there's so much of this world we have not even set foot on. So even though property, contrary to popular belief, there is, and that's just some stuff that we want to start investigating. And we'll come back at later on with some of our findings, but we're going to start every week posting some videos from what we see, because I really want to get to the end of this. So I hope you found this entertaining and kind of enlightening. Again, this is a quick overview of what to expect here going on from week to week, but we are going to come to you and try to present some evidence and go out and see what we can find and what we can scrounge up. And if we disappear one day, you know what happened to us. Okay.
And like we said, y'all come join us if anybody's interested. We're just trying to make this a fun thing to do, and we're gonna have fun with it and see what we find.
Yeah, and make comments here in the page if you've seen stuff too that we might want to go check out. But hope to see you guys soon, and keep watching.
Bye, guys.